Okay, we are going to now go into moving through our agenda items, and on our agenda this evening, our first item was with the Financial Business and Technology Committee, so we will turn the meeting over to Sharon Warden, Chair of that committee.
Okay, and I am going to call on Candy Tilley, Assistant Superintendent of Finance, to present the items. And we have several items for action tonight. So keep that in mind as we go through these.
Good evening, and I have to say that that's a tough act to follow. These young ladies were very impressive, and the young man. Tonight, FBT 01 are the insurance renewals for the. We want to do action tonight so that we can at the time of year end and have that ready for review. We have auto and inland marine, and there was only a $40 increase on that this year. Our total was $26,975. The errors and omissions, which is general liability, we actually had a little bit of a decrease this year of about $163, and the total is $9,877. And then the cyber insurance, in your packet, you may see that we had quotes for a $2 million policy and a $1 million policy. Rachel and I met with the insurance agent, and we decided on the $1 million, and that premium is this policy is with a new provider, but it was cheaper than sticking with our previous provider that we have now. It was even still an increase of about $2,000 this year.
I have a question.
Sure.
How does our policy limits line up with, I know every district's different, but information is dangerous. So I went to a risk management thing about a year ago, and they had somebody come in to talk about the cyber attacks that have happened a few times within the state. So some of these school districts were in trouble, and that's the reason I asked.
Yes, and actually about this time last year, I think it was McDowell County had an attack, and they had to go to Lee County and finish processing their year end. So, but for the most part, my experience has been 1 million, and I think that's what others have been doing across the district. I mean, I think we're doing the standard. We felt like 2 million was actually over-insuring to some degree. Rachel and I did, because of what they allow and what the payouts are. So to go with 2 million was an additional $10,000 premium.
No, I wasn't advocating that. I was just wondering how ours lined up with.
It's pretty, and the company that we use that gets these quotes for us, it's used by probably 80% of the districts across the state.
Thank you.
Sure. Next is FBT 02, which is the payroll calendar for next year. We're asking for action tonight because we have people who actually do payroll. We're trying to plan their July vacation. They wanted to know when July payroll was going to be due. So this is pretty standard. It's the same format that we use every year, and based on how the dates fall, we back into these dates. But any questions on that?
Teachers are no longer allowed to be 12 months. I mean, spread their pay out for 12 months.
That is correct, but they do have the option to use summer cash that's offered through state employees, and it would be just like if they
Is that
had
a state decision?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
To take out installment pay, yes. And we plan on meeting with people over the summer, explaining this, because it's a very confusing document, because a lot of teachers don't understand that they're prepaid.
Do you have the credit union come in and explain
I
about
believe
that?
they do, don't they?
They will.
Yes.
Is the credit union the only bank that does that?
They can use other banks.
Yeah, they can use
They
other
can use
banks,
whatever
they
bank
set
they
it up
want to.
themselves. And with state employees, they set it up themselves. but we can do it as a draft for them here.
State the boards. That's good.
Next, FBTO3 is the purchasing report. I want to draw your attention to the second one, Encore Technology. That is not another cabling project. The first PO was issued to the wrong vendor, and we had to correct that. So that, it was actually issued to the vendor that's doing the vape detection, so that was an error. And so, that is not it's just a correction of sorts. FBTO4 is something that this board has approved for the last couple of years. It's just to recertify that when making purchases with federal dollars, we can use a higher threshold than what their procurement requirements are for bidding purposes. And there is no change to this document other than the dates from what it was last year. The thresholds are the same, and it aligns more with North Carolina bidding requirements. FBTO5 is the rental report for your information. And then next, FBTO6 is the surplus items, and I'm going to turn it over to Marlene Wilkins, the Director of Maintenance, to discuss that.
Good evening. The surplus items that you have before you, the maintenance is to continue for the remainder of the modular units in the district. For transportation, she has some buses that she would like to have surplus, and then Northeastern's end of the year cleanup. Any questions?
I'm just curious about the modulars. So are these all of the modulars in the district?
Yes, ma'am. They are all the modulars.
So when will it happen? So, I mean, when they all, I assume these are gonna be some kind of auction. When will that happen?
We had determined that the auction, it was gonna cost more than,
What
if
you're
we're,
gonna
to,
develop?
yeah, to, if we were to, auction off, place them on gov deals, if we do not sell them, then we will be responsible for disposal. Whereas we have, communicated with the, city and county fire departments to do live burn trainings, and so we're in the process of getting their paperwork filled out, because they have a lot more paperwork than what we'll have to fill out. And so Dina and Barry said they would get back in contact with us.
I know this is not your business, but you probably know this, but do we know where are the people that are going, that are in these?
We're making arrangements, yes, sir. I'm partly involved in
And
it.
the admin, and these 4 admins, that's here.
That is those back here, yes, ma'am.
And a part of, just to add that, a part of what our thinking has been is all of the modulars in the district have some significant age on them. Some have aged more than others, but essentially there would be some significant cost to replace them or to renovate them. And so all of our facilities, whether sheet hardening or operating under capacity. And so we're working with schools to determine best placement of staff. For example, at Northeastern, there's some spaces there to house some of the folks potentially that have worked in some of the trailers. But we're also looking at using this second wing of Pasquotank Elementary as some office space as well, so some of our teams can be on the same hallways. And I think there can be benefits of throwing hallways together. So that's something that's underway. And Marlene and Rachel in particular have been working on a transition move plan. Right now, there's going to be a lot of moving over the summer. We're installing furniture that we order right now. That's one thing that's happening. Moving folks out of Pasquotank and also moving some folks into Pasquotank. Because Pasquotank's not closing, it's becoming a new type of space. And so that work's ongoing. I would say the board could expect by start of school to see the majority of the trailers having been removed through the live burn, as Marlene indicated, but there may be some exceptions. One example could be one of the trailers back here, which is the home of our Channel 8 GovTV right now, and so we're going to have to work with Spectrum, and Dexter's been working on a plan with that to look at what it would take to move the Channel 8 facility over to Pasquotank Elementary, and that may take, depending on some other months other than the summer. So there could be some exceptions, but by and large, our goal is to be able to start school, have some clean spaces where the trailers have been removed, have done some landscaping, and have it ready.
Don't these modulars have chassis underneath of them?
I believe they're still
So
intact.
do we have a plan to get rid of the chassis? Because the fire department's not gonna do that probably.
Yes, we will.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have a correction, we're -3 for PW Moore because they're at max capacity, so they will be using those.
Before we go to FBTO 6, Meredith, who, I don't know how wonderful she is, she keeps them straight. I skipped over workers' comp, in the FBTO 1, and just wanted to, mention that workers' comp as part of this approval, it is in the package. And, there was an increase of 9.6% from the current year's premium, and that's because of the amount of claims we've had, so just wanted to address that. FBTO 6 is the Director of Federal Programs, and Amy Hensel's going to talk about our Title 7. That's okay. Remember 7. Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. That's all right. Good evening, everyone.
In your agenda, we linked a document that is essentially an executive summary of the consolidated federal programs, detailing essentially the general purpose behind and how we operate under the Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV grants that we submit. These are unlike the ESSER grants and the 21st century grants because these grants they come out from the state every year. Since coming on board here, I've been working closely to kind of get up to speed on what we've done in the past with our grants, to learn about the targets and the use of the funds, and be able to start the process. And y'all have allowed me to be able to have that time to be able to really dig in. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. Usually this grant application approval request comes much later, sometimes as late as September, but typically August. I'm going to ask you to consider approving it tonight, because you've already approved the funding. We're still anticipating that there'll be a 15% reduction in what we've typically received from the state as far as our allocation. And so that was presented in the budget as Candy had presented earlier. Essentially what we've done with that 15% reduction and the different titles is then apply that to each of the budgets that we've received in the past, and then go about business as if that was really going to be the amount that we received. We have received notification that there's been delays in getting our planning allotments, and they're not expecting to have them to us until mid-July, if then. The platform that is, the platform we submit everything to is not going to be open until at least mid-July. My work was to be done by the end of June. But I have made a commitment to stay on and see this through so everything gets put into place, and then we'll talk more about it afterwards. So what I'd like to do is to present to you this evening for your consideration is just a tentative plan based on what we know. I don't think it's going to change the focus of the programs. What we do anticipate, though, is that the cuts won't be as deep. And if that's the case, then we'll come back with any kind of changes that might come out as a result of additional funding or anything that might roll out of the state that might change what we're presenting tonight. My executive summary is pretty detailed. But after last week working with the NC Star and some staff about their updating of their school improvement plans, I did make one change that Dr. Parker had strongly suggested to everyone to include in their plan. It was a goal about exceeding growth and improving their letter grade for their school. So you'll notice that that change is on the new document in front of you, and it was not posted to the agenda on Friday. So other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I only have one, and I'm racking my brains because I can't remember. Trig is not on here.
That's correct.
Do they get any money at all based on their homeschool students' population? Like if they have an NHS? I
They're,
couldn't
they're a
remember.
standalone school. They have their own school number, even though we kind of.
Right.
What we do, and you'll see that, the early college is also not on there.
Right.
Those two schools, because of their size and because of the services they provide with such a small student, teacher ratio, we provide them with comparable services through local and state funding, so that they're not missing anything.
Right,
They're just not getting additional sprinkles, as we like to call them. This is supplemental.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do you anticipate the funding to change in any way, perhaps go up?
We're hoping that it's gonna be high. I've
Because it
federal
was
programs for
a
a lot of
major
years.
reduction.
It was. They were actually anticipating, they were saying plan on a 20%. That was a huge cut, especially in a year when we're already seeing a cut and a drop in the rest of our federal
Right.
program funding with ESSER. But we anticipate 15%, I think, was more than enough. I think when it all comes out, that we probably see less than a 15% cut. That's what we're hoping for.
Any other questions?
And I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. All right, I want to take action on the items that, Ms. Tilly has requested that we take action on. So, I think we'll do this. Should we do it individually, John, or can we do it as a bundle?
I prefer to have these done individually, so you have
Okay.
a record of every single approval.
All right, so, at this time, I'd like to move to take action on FBT-01, which is the insurance renewals, that Ms. Tilly explained to us during her presentation. I need a second for that.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to have a roll call vote for that one, Ms. Parker?
Pam Preza,
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams,
Yes.
Tommy Old,
Yes.
Valerie Bogues,
Yes.
Rodney Walton,
Yes.
and Sharon Warden.
Yes. Okay, and now we're gonna take action on FBT-02, so I move that we take action on FBT-02, the 2024-2025 payroll calendar, and I need a second for that.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Pam Preza,
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams.
Yes.
Tommy Old,
Yes.
Valerie Bogues.
Yes.
Rodney Walton.
Yes.
And Sharon Warden.
Okay, and I'd like to move to take action on FBT-04, which is the micro threshold resolution. And I need a second.
We have this, did you hear that, Ms. Parker?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the roll call vote, please.
Pam Preza,
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams,
Yes.
Tommy Old,
Yes.
Valerie Bogues.
Yes.
Rodney Walton.
Yes.
And Sharon Warden.
Yes. And then on the surplus items that were presented by Ms. Wilkins, FBT-06, I'd like to move that we approve that for action. And a second? Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Pam Preza,
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams, Tommy Old,
Yes.
Valerie Bogues.
Yes.
Rodney Walton.
Yes.
And Sharon Warden.
Yes. And then the final item, FBT-07, I'd like to move that we take action on the 2024-2025 federal funding application that was presented for us. Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Pam Preza,
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams, Tommy Old,
Yes.
Valerie Bogues.
Yes.
Rodney
Yes.
Walton. And Sharon Warden.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Warden, and Ms. Tilly, and Ms. Kendall, thank you so much, and Ms. Wilkins for all of your information. At this time, Dr. Williams, will you take us into closed session?
Yes.
I motion for the board to go into closed session as allowed by NC General Statute 143 through 318, 1186, for the purpose of considering one or more personnel matters that are confidential under the NC General Statute 115C through 320, and as allowed by the NC Statute 143 through 318, 1183, to consult with the board attorney regarding matters protected by the attorney-client privilege and to preserve that privilege.
Okay, can we have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Okay, a second, third, and a fourth. I heard everybody at one time. Let's just say Ms. Bowes.
Okay.
I heard everybody at once. Okay, can we get do we have any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Pam Perezza.
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams.
Yes.
Tommy Old.
Yes.
Valerie Bowes.
Yes.
Rodney Walton.
Yes.
And Sharon Horgan.
Yes.
That ends open session. We will now move into closed.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.